Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too, as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. Thanks for inviting me into your homes and your hearts. 5 to 10 minutes worth. Tuesday. Oh, the time will come up when the wind will stop and the breeze will cease to be breathing. Like the stillness in the wind for the hurricanes begin, the hour that the ship comes in. And the seas will split and the ship will hit, and the sands on the shoreline will be shaken. For the tide will sound and the waves will pound, and the morning will be breaking. Oh, the foes will rise with the sleep still in their eyes, and they'll jerk from their beds and think they're dreaming. But they'll pinch themselves and squeal, and they'll know that it's for real, the hour that the ship comes in. And they'll raise their hands saying, we'll meet all your demands, but we'll shout from the bows, your days are numbered. And like Pharaoh's tribe, they'll be drowned in the tide, and like Goliath, they'll be conquered. Yeah, one of Bob Dylan's early ones. We're all waiting for the ship to come in, huh? All right, get right to it. Your journaling question for the day. Yesterday, we were talking about what brings you joy. What brings you joy? What excites your passion? Today, it's the opposite. What pisses you off about what's going on in the world or about the world in general? If you could convey 3 things that angers you and you like to tell people about, so they could either avoid or not make the same mistakes because of what anger does. Like Buddha says, getting angry with somebody else is like grabbing a hot coal to shove in someone else's eye. You burn yourself first. Very few people know how to deal with clear anger. So just start with when you lose it. What angers you most, and what would you like to tell other people? 3 things that angers you about what's in the world. All right, back to the clutter motifs. Do this for another week or so, and then we'll move on. But everybody has to deal with that. Now, what I don't like about that part of me that has clutter, in some way it says, I'm emotionally disorganized. And so I don't have to keep my promises about anything because I'm emotionally disorganized. So that becomes another form of procrastination. Right? Chunk it out little bit by little bit, see what it does for you. Now, behind everything, I think that the hint of mint that you get from the Upanishads onward is a cosmic homesickness, as if we have a beacon device inside us that's beckoning us from beyond to come back home. So once you understand that, are you identified with the struggle to exist or the joy of being? I always say that the joy of being should come first. So we're all here to encourage each other's tenacity, each other's fierceness, to accept that which nourishes our own contact with our life force, and refuse to be pinned down. We hate being grounded in some way. We all want to be flying. But if you completely commit yourself to being in your body, here and now, in time and space, then you're relaxed. And there's a certain kind of freedom that comes from that. But we have to face what Stutz calls the voice of impossibility. It's the shadow part of ourself. There's something we're ashamed of usually, and we don't want the world to see that. It's like the villain in our own story of personal growth. It's like an antisocial, invisible force that wants you to fail, doesn't want you to grow. It keeps you from changing, and it basically wants to get in there and fuck up your shit. Well, first thing I would suggest is we all have different perceptions of what we think is going on, but mostly it's distorted and limited perception, like the blind men with the elephant. They heard the elephant was coming to town. They all wanted to understand what it was. One touched its leg and thought it was a pillar. One touched its side and thought it was a wall. One touched its tusk and thought it was a spear. One touched its nose and thought it was like a winnowing fan. One touched its tail, thought it was a snake, and so get it. They all touched the part, but they didn't see it as it really is, and they didn't see it in relationship to the whole. So when you talk about any issues, when you think you've come to any decisions, find the middle way. And in your personal life, don't worry if people pull you down and declare you unfit, and don't be moved either if they praise you to the sky. Find the middle way. Know your own worth. Now, I always like to remind people Joseph Campbell's great take, which he learned from James Joyce, about the proper function of art. And the proper art is to have what they call aesthetic arrest. It should stop you in your tracks. One of the greatest three-word definitions of samadhi: silent, luminous stasis. Where art that moves you in one way to try to possess it or do something with it, they call that pornographic art. Like when you see somebody jumping in the snowbanks of St. Moritz. Oh, I want that. That's pornography. Art used in order to make you draw yourself to the object. But the opposite is also true. Didactic art, social propaganda. This is your brain on drugs. That's also not the right way to use art, because both of those things either move you toward the object, make you repel the object. But the purpose of art is to open your heart and to end up having compassion. Pornographic art, didactic art, speaks to your relationship to what happens in outer space, that the world outside of oneself. But proper art takes you into the world within, where it arrests the thinking process. You're not moving in the outer world, you're absorbed in the inner world. And if you don't have that experience, you haven't opened to the dimension of the inward life yet. And I hope you do. So my friends, let spirit solve your problems. If you give spirit a chance, remember your advancement in your own estimation is not based on just intellectual understanding or more acquisition of knowledge. You got to use what you already have. You got to put it into practice. You already possess it. It doesn't even have to be gotten. Apply yourself more carefully and continue to learn by doing that. So may you all dissolve your own patterns of resistance and enhance your patterns of allowance, because I'm going to spend as much time as I can activating what I want, not what I don't want. Every day I try to go on a rampage of appreciation. So much to be grateful for, and reach out from there. Have a great day. Look forward to seeing you again.